James Otis was a successful lawyer from Boston, Massachusetts, who played a key role in shaping the ideology of the American Revolution. Otis was an active member of the Boston Sons of Liberty, along with his good friends Samuel Adams and John Adams, and other prominent patriots, including John Hancock and Dr. Joseph Warren. Otis was a prolific writer and speaker, and used his skills to lead opposition to British policies, including writs of assistance, the Sugar Act, the Townshend Acts, and the Stamp Act. He is often credited for the phrase, "no taxation without representation," as well as "a man's home is his castle." His influence can be found in the Bill of Rights, the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, which protects Americans against unreasonable searches and seizures. The Fourth Amendment reads, "The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized." Otis also saw all people as equal, with the same rights, regardless of skin color. An argument can be made that he should be considered a founding father because of his early arguments for rights and liberty. Otis was an advocate for freedom for all men, regardless of the color of their skin. In Rights of the British Colonies, he wrote, "The colonists are by the law of nature free-born, as indeed all men are, white or black." On May 23, 1783, Otis was at the home of Isaac Osgood with some other people. Otis was standing in the doorway telling a story when the house was struck by lightning. Otis was killed instantly. He was 58 years old. He is buried at the Granery Burying Ground in Boston, Massachusetts. The Granery Burying Ground in Boston is one of the city's oldest and most haunted cemeteries. It is the final resting place of many notable figures from the American Revolution, including Paul Revere, Samuel Adams, and John Hancock. The Ghost of James Otis Jr. One of the most famous ghost stories from the Granery Burying Ground involves James Otis Jr., a prominent lawyer and early advocate for the American Revolution. James Otis Jr. suffered a severe head injury during a bar fight in 1769, which significantly affected his mental health. September 5, 1769, Otis came across Robinson at the British Coffee House in Boston. The two of them started shouting at each other, and a fight broke out. The details of what was said prior to the fight and the fight itself are mostly unclear, as there are several affidavits and newspaper stories that contain different details. It seems that a crowd made up mostly of soldiers and officers from the Army, Navy, and Revenue Office surrounded Otis and Robinson as they fought. A Boston merchant, John Gridley, said he saw the crowd helping Robinson. Gridley thought that made things unfair and rushed in to help defend Otis. Otis received a serious blow to the head, and blood ran from it immediately. Gridley was struck on the head and wrist by people in the crowd. Eventually, the fight broke up. Otis and Gridley were carried out. Robinson and his friends, supposedly the other commissioners, left the coffee house. He became increasingly erratic and was eventually struck by lightning in 1783, leading to his death. Otis was buried in the Granery Burying Ground, and it is said that his spirit still lingers there. Visitors to the Granery Burying Ground have reported seeing a ghostly figure dressed in colonial attire, believed to be James Otis Jr. This apparition is often seen wandering near his grave, and some have even claimed to hear him muttering about taxation and tyranny. One particularly chilling account comes from a night watchman who reported seeing Otis's ghost standing by his tombstone, staring intently at the ground as if lost in thought. In addition to James Otis Jr., the Granery Burying Ground is said to be haunted by other spirits, shadowy figures, unexplained cold spots, and the feeling of being watched are common experiences reported by visitors. The cemetery's eerie atmosphere, combined with its rich history, makes it a fascinating place for both history enthusiasts and ghost hunters. If you're ever in Boston, a visit to the Granery Burying Ground is a must. Whether you're there for the history or the hauntings, It's sure to be an unforgettable experience.
Major John Andre was a British officer who played a significant role in the infamous plot involving Benedict Arnold. Andre was captured by American forces while carrying documents that revealed Arnold's plan to surrender West Point to the British. He was tried as a spy and hanged in 1780. For many, even on the American side, Andre left a legacy of honor. Although his request for execution by firing squad, considered a more honorable death than hanging, was rejected. According to law, he placed the noose around his own neck. Americans were taken by his charm and intellect. Washington referred to him as being more unfortunate than criminal, an accomplished man, and a gallant officer. Hamilton wrote, "Never perhaps did any man suffer death with more justice or deserve it less." Across the Atlantic, Andre's monument in Westminster Abbey bears a mourning figure of Britannia that is inscribed in part to a man universally beloved and esteemed by the army in which he served and lamented even by his foes. The site of Andre's execution in Tappan, New York, is said to be haunted by his restless spirit. The Old 76 House, a tavern where Andre was held before his execution, is a focal point for these ghostly encounters. Visitors and staff have reported seeing Andre's ghost, often described as a tall figure in a British uniform, wandering the premises. One of the most famous accounts comes from a former tavern keeper who claimed to have seen Andre's ghost on multiple occasions. The apparition was often seen near the fireplace, where Andre spent his last days. The tavern keeper described the ghost as having a sorrowful expression, as if reliving the moments leading up to his execution. Tourists visiting the Old 76 House have also reported eerie encounters. Some have felt sudden cold spots, heard unexplained footsteps, and even seen the ghostly figure of Andre standing by the window, looking out as if waiting for something. One visitor recounted feeling a tap on the shoulder, only to turn around and find no one there. The story of Major John Andre adds a poignant and eerie chapter to the history of the Revolutionary War. His tragic fate and the subsequent hauntings at Tappan serve as a reminder of the war's human cost and the lingering spirits of those who played pivotal roles.